first of all, thank you for having me today. It was an absolute pleasure. Wonderful Seattle day here, but I had a blast. The weather wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty good, and I enjoyed getting out here on my first duck hunt. Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for coming. This very serious hunting, right? That's me. We did it about right. If the ducks had been working, we would put a lot more effort into it. The ducks were not. We just didn't see it. But thanks for coming, man. This has been a blast. It's been great to reconnect.
Yeah, totally good reconnecting.
It's been great to just hang out. For you guys who don't know, Jerome and I used to hang out and play motorcycles.
Well, last time we tried to get out here, we had a little bit of snow.
Yeah, like not that much. Nobody died.
Nobody died. But one of the things that was interesting is you were leading up to it. You were talked about a couple things around the weather and how that impacted duck hunting, which is something I obviously didn't know anything about, but would love to hear just a quick synopsis of how that affects duck hunting.
Yeah. So ducks don't move by the season. We think they do. We've all been told they do. Some do, some don't. But the vast majority of ducks that we hunt are widgeon here and mallards. Okay, so they move because they can't find food and they can't find water. We don't really get ice here, which is kind of what makes it attractive to be a duck hunter. On the other side of the mountains, everything freezes up. Ducks move because they're uncomfortable. Okay, so if you have a 50-degree day and it's sunny and there's no hunting pressure, there was today, but if you have all of those things and there's food, if they have all the things that a duck needs, a duck's not going to move. And so what we were hoping for was some wind, some snotty weather, and that's what that snow did, and I shot a limit of ducks that day.
Got it. So when you were scouting that week and you saw that a lot of the places you were thinking about going were potentially freezing or had frozen over, that kind of affected where they would want to hang out.
Yeah, or dry. So the plan was to get out here, not forget the shotgun in the truck, and...
Step number one is remember shotgun, right?
What's wrong?
So we're halfway down the lake, and I realized I forgot my fucking shotgun.
Is that important to hunting?
One would think so.
So the plan for today was to come out, really, it was more of a test run than a real hunt because you wanted to figure out what you actually needed to film a hunt. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see if my duck blind on my boat would work, and if the whole thing would work to come out and do that. I think everything worked. I have some lessons. I need to beef up my duck blind, found out.
I think your duck blind worked pretty well. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seemed to be quite functional. It had the thing that went up and over and you could knock it up.
You didn't see the piece that used to be straight.
Oh, that's by design. You shouldn't have said anything.
No.
I wouldn't have noticed. It's an aerodynamic curve.
So an uncanny amount of people here. And by that I mean there was 2 trucks on that piece and there was 2 trucks there and then us made 6. In this parking lot, there's 2 other parking areas to this wildlife area. 2 things. One, we must have read all the forecasts right because all the other duck hunters are showing up. Mm-hmm. This is not a spot that gets that much pressure, right? You would expect between 0 and 1 or 2. Here, I think 3 groups was a lot. I knew it was going to be kind of crowded. It didn't feel crowded. And I also knew that maybe the ducks would move.
We managed to arrive here on time today.
Yep.
Which can be a challenge considering the times at which y'all crazy people start your duck hunts. What time did we start this morning? And that was probably late for you, wasn't it?
My alarm woke me up at 4, and yes, that's a late duck hunt start. And so if you listen to the podcast, the first episode we talked about the public land blind races, where they open at 4. If you're not there at 2, Sometimes you don't get a blind, you don't get the one you want maybe. Duck hunting is a thing, you want to get there, you want to get set up, you want to get settled, and then let the ducks, sometimes you can let the ducks come in even before shooting light. And that is, man, that's fun. That's really cool. Yeah, it was 6 a.m. and we finally got set up at, I think shooting light was 7:30 and I think we were set up at about 7:27. So early we did have one, call it a 5-pack of ducks, land probably just outside of range, we thought. And I thought they might be swimming toward us. So that was really cool, and we were gonna shoot some ducks. And then they, of course, decided that they weren't gonna hang around. But that was the best we got. And then also we had one other, was it a pair? I think it was a pair that was giving us some
the circle,
good circles. And so that was fun.
They were you described something with their wings.
Yeah,
What
so
were
they
doing?
cup. So when a duck's like cruising, they'll just flap, right? But when a duck is coming to land, they'll kind of cup their wings and they'll like come in and do some like almost soaring to come in so that they can parachute in and land. And I think that lets them slow down, but what it lets us do is know these guys are coming.
Yeah.
And if they circle around you, they're probably working your decoy spread and you haven't scared them off yet, and then they leave. But yeah, so that was our encounters. We had 2 real encounters today. The one that it caught us by surprise.
Yeah. I mean, well, you were still setting up and.
Well, I guess both of them caught us by surprise.
There was the one we were setting up, and then there was the one we were stretching our legs.
Yeah.
Which Murphy's Law is probably the most likely thing to happen. You went, all right,
Yep.
It's pretty quiet. We haven't seen anything in a while. Let's stretch our legs, fold up the blind a little bit, and all of a sudden, every duck in the state of Washington shows up.
Yep, that's the way it works. It's like, look, if somebody shoots here, every duck in the state of Washington gets up, moves around, and moves to another piece of land.
They were in the other spot that one over from where we were. That's why we
They
didn't do
were.
anything.
My ammo bill was real loaded.
Low ammo build. What did we say? It was a beautiful day and the ammo bill was low. Is that how we described today?
Yep.
So you gave me a couple pieces of paperwork when I showed up today.
I
Talk
did.
me through what those things are.
Okay, so I gave you the duck and goose regulations and its seasons and limits.
Okay.
The seasons and bag limits. And those are set federally by flyway. Okay, so most wildlife, actually, this is a great topic, most wildlife in America is managed by the state. However, and it's not even federally, it's managed internationally because ducks start up almost to the Arctic and they end up almost in Mexico.
Was that the stamp looking thing?
That is the duck stamp, the federal duck stamp. I gave you one of those. So every year you have to buy a duck stamp as a duck hunter, and it is a federal stamp. You buy it from the post office, is a great place to get it. The one that I gave you actually came from Sam Soholt and his, he runs a company called Tees, Wildland Tees, something like that, Public Land Tees. And he sells t-shirts, wildlife branded t-shirts. But every fall he raises money, and that money, then he turns around and buys duck stamps and then ships them out with every order. So that's where one of yours came from, was from that Stamp It Forward program.
Got it.
What it is the cool thing about duck stamps is when the price goes up, it's basically voted on and or decided by hunters that the price goes up. It's something that we as hunters decide to do. And we do it because it is the best, absolutely the best donation to conservation that you can do. That $25, 98% of it goes directly back into conservation. Everyone who goes and enjoys ducks or waterfowl of any kind, I believe should have a federal duck stamp. I know it sounds weird that me trying to hunt ducks means that there are more ducks on this land, but you have to remember that the reason that we still have ducks is because we decided as hunters, I want ducks for my kids to shoot. The reason that we still have black bears and deer and elk and moose and what we have is because we decided we want them.
Awesome. Well, hey, it was great getting out here today with you.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're starting to get some rain. Big surprise here out there in the Pacific Northwest. Don't look, because there's going to be a million ducks.
No, that's not a duck.
Don't do that to yourself.
That's not a duck. That's that same stick that's been floating out there.
That you, all the sticks start looking like ducks. But thanks for having me.
Dude.
I really appreciate it. It's good reconnecting. Any other closing thoughts you want to add?
Go and support conservation organizations. Just know that a lot of us hunters are out not just for sport. There's a lot more meaning behind me coming out here to shoot an animal. We take this food home, we feed our bodies, we feed our kids. This is my heritage, right? This is my family. I love bringing people into it. Hunting's amazing. It's fun.
It is.
I'm glad we had fun
Well,
today.
thank you for sharing that with me.
Shut up, twins.
Damn twins!